everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna make you think. I want you to think about the people you're spending the most time with. This is something you can do if you've been feeling like there's a little bit of tension with your close friends, or maybe the people that you live with, like roommates or family members. But this is also something that's really valuable even if you're not noticing immediate conflict or tension in any of your relationships. This video is basically inspired by the quote, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." I first heard that quote from one of my mentors, Natasha Graziano, but I think it's attributed to a motivational speaker named Jim Rohn. A quick explanation of the quote. What does it mean? Basically, as humans, we're really influenced by the people and the environment that surrounds us. There's a lot of research that shows that people think they're a lot more individualistic than they really are, and a lot of times their beliefs or their attitudes about things are shaped by where they grew up, or who they grew up with, or the kind of media that was most easily available to them. Things like that. So you being the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with basically means that your beliefs, your attitudes, emotions, habits, to some degree are being influenced by these 5 people. And here's the thing, you might not even realize that this is happening. A lot of people don't, and I'll get into that a little bit later in this video. But subconsciously, the people that you're spending your most time with, you're taking in their behaviors, their mannerisms, their energy, etc. So like I said, I first heard this quote from one of my mentors, and she was basically trying to get us to reevaluate who we surround ourselves with. I was in this class with her once, and she had us write out this list of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And then she had us write out a second list, which was basically the top 5 people in your life that bring out the best in you. Maybe they inspire you, or they make you feel really good. Maybe you have a lot of respect for them. Maybe you want to be like them. Your top 5 people. And then she asked us to compare the list. Are the 5 people you're spending the most time with the same as the 5 people that bring out the best in you? I think a lot of people would be surprised to find that no, they're not always the same. If they're not, fix that, switch it, and that's what I'm about to get into. I did this exercise, and it's worth considering everyone in your life, by the way. Don't just think of your top 5 friends that you spend the most time with. Like, if you live with the family member and interacting with them the majority of your day, maybe they should be on that list, or maybe a coworker or like a roommate. It doesn't count if you're just like seeing them every day, but if you're actually interacting with them, like verbally or through message. So I did this exercise, and I just want to give you an example on how it changed the way I viewed my life, and like how that kind of changed my life, period. So at that time, I was spending a lot of time with this particular friend who actually I had been noticing that they were causing some stress in my life. So this is going to be a more obvious example. Like, maybe you write out that list of 5 people that you spend your most time with, and there might be someone on there that you're already like, yeah, this person's kind of been pissing me off, or we're like a little bit different and there's tension. It happens. If you're spending a lot of time with someone who's doing you harm, you might want to cut back on how much you spend time with them, or at least try to distance yourself for a while, maybe as much as possible. So in my case, my friend had certain lifestyle habits that didn't really align with my own. I think our values and like the way we do things and the way we perceive things in life, I can see that, we were just different, and that's fine. That doesn't make me a bad person, that doesn't make them a bad person. But at the time, I do remember thinking, oh, this person has a lot of bad habits. I'll give you examples. And by the way, some of these descriptions have come out of that person's mouth, so it's not just me judging them. Their personality is a little bit all over the place. They're not always the most productive when it comes to meeting deadlines or working on projects. They're usually late to things. They would promise a lot of things and not keep their word. And because I was spending so much time with them, one, I would get stressed out by them a lot. Like, maybe they would promise me something as a friend, tell me that they were gonna do something, and then they wouldn't do it. Or maybe we would make plans to hang out, and then they'd always be late. And because I was spending so much time with this person, those little things started adding up and just creating like visible stress in my life. I also started to realize that some of these qualities that my friend had, not only were they qualities that I didn't really like, they were also things that I was trying to get better at myself. For example, I've struggled with productivity all my life. I've struggled with procrastination, time management. So me spending a lot of time with someone who's also disorganized in that sense is not really gonna help me get any better. And don't get me wrong, she's not the reason I was struggling. Like, I'll never put that blame or responsibility on someone else. Like, no, I'm in charge. I'm responsible for my own productivity and how I act. The point is, being around someone who has qualities that you're actively trying to avoid in yourself, it's not really gonna help you do that. Actually, being around someone who has those qualities that you're trying to avoid is actually gonna potentially encourage them to show up more in you. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're always late and you have this friend who's always running late. When you two make plans, if you're running late, it's likely that your friend will be like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, they're gonna excuse away the bad habit for you because they have that bad habit too. They'll be like, oh no, it's okay, or oh, don't worry, I'm running late too, like, thank God. And don't get me wrong, we've all been there, like, this is just an example. But if you were to hear that over and over again, then subconsciously you're gonna start to think, oh, it doesn't really matter that I'm late because there's no real consequences. That person, to a degree, is enabling that behavior in you because they're not really setting boundaries with you. They don't have that boundary with themselves, so they're not going to set it with you. And again, in this example, it's not like your best friend is the one making you late. Like, no, that's on you. But them having the same quality or the same bad habit sort of validates your bad habit and enables it, and it kind of keeps you from changing. Like, subconsciously, you're going to start to think, oh, I mean, this is fine. It's normal. The flip side to that would be if you started making plans with someone who you know is always on time, like they are punctual, then subconsciously that might help you manage your time better anytime you're getting ready to hang out with them. Because subconsciously you might be thinking, oh, they're always like right on time, I don't want to be late on them. The more you make plans with this punctual person, the more you're going to be motivated or influenced to be like, dang, they're always really on time, like I should try to meet them where they are. And it's just these little behaviors that we don't even realize are happening that can actually have a really big and positive impact on you instead of enabling the bad behavior. Another person in my life was someone I live with. So this person, it wasn't exactly their habits that I didn't like, it was their attitude. Oh my god, you guys, this person is probably the most negative person that I know. And here's the thing, I lived with them, so I was interacting with them every single day. There were some days where their negativity just got to me. They complained about everything, and they always pointed out the negative in situations. Of course, consciously, I'm trying to ignore them, and some days that was really easy to do, and I wouldn't even really notice that they were there or what they were saying. But some days I'd be like, damn, like you're killing the mood. Basically, their negativity was biting into my energy. And I think something I'll keep repeating throughout this video is it's happening subconsciously. Like, did you know whenever you have something playing in the background, like the news or podcast or music, subconsciously you're taking that in. That's why I don't listen to true crime podcasts anymore, but that's a story for another time. So then I took a look at the list of the good people in my life. And again, not good, not bad, just difference in what they're bringing to my life at that time. So on the good list, these were friends that had a lot of love and respect for. One of the people on this list is a very, very caring person. They're the kind of person you could depend on for anything. They're just so generous and oh, I love them so much. Then I had another friend on the list who I actually wasn't super close to, but they were really inspiring to me. Like in terms of their career, their creativity, like the way they carry themselves with people, even their appearance, like the way that they dress. And basically the people on that list were just people that made me feel good. They either make me feel really loved or really seen, inspired, respected. So when I compared my two lists of who am I spending the most time with versus who makes me feel really good in my life, I was like, damn, I actually have some really great people in my life, but I'm not interacting with them as much as I could be. And then keep in mind here, it's not that you have to visibly see these people every day, even if it's someone that you're messaging every single day, or maybe you call them. I mean, I don't know if people still call daily that, but you know what I mean. Meanwhile, the 5 people that I was interacting the most with daily, they weren't bringing out the best in me, and actually they were kind of bringing out some of the bad in me. So if this is the case for you, what should you do? Honestly, if the people that you're spending the most time with are bringing you down, and again, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, like I'm high and mighty and I'm judging everybody. You know what's good for you. Pay attention to who brings out a good vibe, who brings out a bad vibe to you. Does that make them bad? No, it's just we're all different. You don't have to cut off relationships completely, but you do have to evaluate, what do I value in my life right now? And do the people that I surround myself with reflect those values? So not only should you cut back on interacting with the negative people, you should try to increase how much you interact with the good people. Start spending more time with them, start messaging them, or reach out to them more. Whatever you can do to put yourself in closer proximity to them and put a little more distance between yourself and the not so good ones. So once I did that, I actually started spending more time with these people. Like looking back, I was pretty successful in flipping the list. Like now, those 5 people that brought out the best in me, I would definitely say they're the 5 people that I spend the most time with now. And then taking a look at the people that I cut back on, again, you don't have to like cut them off. There is a way to distance yourself from someone respectfully and still keep them in your life. And still be friends even, or have a good relationship with them. Like that friend I told you about, basically, I just stopped making as many plans to see them. And there's situations where it might seem like it's hard to put distance between yourself and that person. So for example, the living situation. Remember, one of my bad people with someone that I lived with. So you might be thinking in that case, well, I have to see them every single day. Yes, but you don't have to interact with them every single day. What I did is I started arranging my day so that I would minimize how much direct interaction I had with them. Like if I noticed they would eat dinner at a certain time of the day, I would not go out to the living space. I wouldn't open the door for conversation if I heard them say something negative. I know that might sound like I was closing myself off or like I was putting limits on myself and how I was able to live, but I actually look at it the opposite way. That was me taking control of my life and how I wanted my day to look. I don't want my day to be filled with negativity, so I'm just gonna do what I need to do to avoid that negativity. So if there's people in your life that you find yourself you're constantly arguing with them, or they're constantly in a really negative or bad mood and that rubs off on you. If they're always putting you down, which that's super shady, but it does happen. Or if they encourage bad habits in you, again, could be happening subconsciously. Think about letting them go, at least a little bit. And instead, choose to surround yourself with the people that are bringing out the best in you. People who uplift you. People who make you feel good, who inspire you to do more, or maybe they motivate you to make like some sort of progress in your life. And we don't even have to go there. Like, forget trying to reach some goal that like society is telling us we should reach. People that just make you feel happy and good about yourself. Whatever those good qualities are that you like, look for them in people and then surround yourself with those people as much as possible. Because again, bitch, they are influencing you whether you want to believe it or not. I hope you try the 2 lists exercise just to evaluate like, hey, I didn't even realize that I could be spending more time with this person who brings me more joy, or wow, I should maybe spend less time with this person who's kind of messing me up. I just hope that by being introduced to this idea, you could get something positive out of it, because that's definitely what happened with me. Like I said, when Natasha mentioned this 5 listing, I didn't go into it thinking I need to change the relationships in my lives. No, I was just in this class, I happened to hear this thing, and once I did it, I realized, oh, this is happening in my life. That's why people say you should journal or whatever, because these questions bring up things in you that you didn't really know were happening. And also, this video topic reminds me of another video that I'd want to do in the future. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but basically, media that you consume. I'm talking music, podcasts, TV shows, books, even the news. All of that is definitely influencing you subconsciously. I don't want to hear it. It is. I promise you. There's literal research that shows this. And so I want to make a video about how we should all pay a little bit more attention to the media that we consume. But again, that's a video for another time. So if you want to see that, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.